Good morning. Abstinence. Experience strength and hope from members of Overeaters Anonymous. This story's entitled Crucial Step. I've been in Overeaters Anonymous for almost 3 years and had lost 130 pounds. My relationship with God was the most important part of my recovery. I truly believed that God was removing my obsession with food. Then it happened. Relapse. I started gaining a little weight and became consumed by the fear of regaining it all. I expressed this fear to many of my OA friends. While I will always be grateful for their constant friendship during this trying time, I was unable to accept their help. The problem was that I had stopped believing in step 2 and was totally unwilling to practice step 3. During the next 3 years, I gained back all the weight plus a little extra. I felt hopeless, but I kept showing up at meetings several times a week. Often I considered not going because I was afraid newcomers would look at me and wonder if the program worked. Even so, I continued to go to meetings because I knew that OA and its principles were my only hope for a better life. But what was wrong? Finally, someone suggested that I do a spiritual inventory. The seed was planted. For weeks, I considered doing the inventory, but I didn't know how to begin. I summoned the courage to ask the person who'd suggested it if she would recommend some ideas and issues I might address. I firmly believed God had placed this precious person in my life. I followed some of her suggestions and was amazed at the outpouring of conflicts that existed between me and higher power. When I gave away my spiritual inventory, I realized that I needed to reevaluate my concept of God and determine what God could and would do for me. Until I took this step, I was unable to believe that a power greater than myself would restore my abstinence. It was hard for me to develop my own concept of God, but once I did, I was able to turn over extra food, the food thoughts, and my fear of dying from compulsive overeating. I've been able to stay abstinent one day at a time for 9 weeks. I now want to be abstinent more than I want to overeat. This is truly a miracle from my loving higher power, because I was almost certain I would never experience recovery again. But God can and will do for me what I am unable to do for myself, as long as I believe God alone has the power. This is from a member from Leavenworth, Kansas. Yeah, makes sense that this program may not take much effect if we can't move beyond step 1. Um, and the phrase that comes back to my mind is, from one of the most important people in my early recovery. A dear friend of mine, her father had been in the program for 25 plus years. And I just remember him telling me, don't leave 5 minutes before the miracle. And it's just stuck in my head. And and in my darkest times in recovery, with a decade or more clean, that don't leave 5 minutes before the miracle kept me in the game long enough to move through my troubles. And and yeah, it was definitely my willfulness, my not turning it over, not working steps 3, thinking I had step 2, but not really working step 3. Yeah. Grateful that I am surrendered today. Um, Working on having an abstinent day today, doing my thing, and hoping that you get to do your thing and stay abstinent all day. Super simple. Have a great day.